I've said it time and time again. Doing Good Morning Frederick has allowed me to meet so many wonderful people in Frederick that I did not know before April 1st. And Kevin is one of them. Kevin, thank you so much for joining us today.
Pleasure to be here. Thanks, Tammy.
You're welcome. So, we met in person at a Frederick Lifestyle event. You were featured in the June issue. So, you are an accountant. Did you always dream about being an accountant when you were growing up?
No, I dreamed about being a scientist.
Oh, wow. Okay. And what happened there?
Scientists don't get girls, so then I went into drumming, joined a band, did that for 8 years, and then music doesn't pay well, and then got a solid career started or going into school or college around 2009, 2010, and got into accounting, and here we are.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think if you're smart, everyone needs an accountant to keep everything straight and to keep up with all the changes that happen. It seems like daily, but that's really cool. So, you not only got into accounting, what year did you start Spark Tax Services?
Graduated University of Maryland in 2014. My
Go
degree.
Terps!
There
Yeah.
you go. There you go. And then went into public accounting straight away. Did my time there 5 years. If anyone knows public accounting, it's a lot of hours, and yeah, it's horrendous. After that, went into private to the healthcare industry, then in the banking industry. Eventually, COVID happened. A lot of people had a lot of realizations about different things, different experiences. One of mine was hurry up and get my CPA. So I studied and was able to get my CPA in March 2021.
Mm.
And that's exactly the same month that I opened up Spark Tax Services.
Oh, wow. So you were hedging your bets there. No, you knew you were going to do well, I think.
Yeah, yeah. So over
Very
time,
good.
yeah, grew it organically, and now we're here. So it's been a blessing.
Nice. You're on Buckystown Pike, you said. And so do you specialize in any particular clients or you're happy to take corporate, personal? Is there anyone you prefer?
Yeah, so our approach is completely different from others. So overall, we're a virtual firm. We work with 49 states except Hawaii, just
Okay.
because you have to have boots on the ground in Hawaii.
Ah,
But besides that, we work in 49 states. We're a virtual firm, and we offer not only tax preparation, what everyone's accustomed to doing once a year, but we also offer tax planning and advisory, which is
nice.
really is a more proactive and relationship based type of service.
Yes, I appreciate that because we had an accountant for a while who really, submitted our quarterly. My husband is an entrepreneur as well, self-employed, so submitted our quarterly stuff and all that good stuff, but didn't help us to plan for things that were coming. And so we would get surprises throughout the year, which is not fun at all. That can really make a huge difference to a small business for sure. But even on a personal level, like it's just, hey, you got a $12,000 tax bill. And it's like, well, okay, what are we going to do? If you could give people kind of like three tips right now, since, we're midway through the year, a little bit more, three tips for them in kind of, preparing for the end of the year or tax advice, not really financial, obviously, but what would you tell people they should be doing right now?
Oh man, there's so much. Uh, well, number one, we'll say is do you have the right entity structure in place?
That's,
So a lot
yeah.
of the times, and it could be for various types of reasons, right? You have the legal component and you have the tax component, and sometimes they work hand in hand. But overall, is do you have the right entity structure in place that's being efficiently and optimized for tax purposes? So a lot of the times, people create LLCs out of nowhere, or they don't have any entity structure at all, legal entity structure at all set up, and they expect to somewhat save in taxes somehow by creating these types of entities. But it's really meeting with your tax advisor
Mm.
to make sure you're in the correct entity and whether all the strategies are being implemented to optimize from the tax saving perspective. The number one entity structure that I would say you would save in taxes is the S corp.
Yes.
I would say 9 out of 10 times, small business owners that are usually making over $50,000 in profit should be looking at implementing an S corp. You'll save a lot in self-employment taxes, and it'll give you open doors to other strategies that you can even create that tax savings even larger.
Love it. That's a great one.
Let's see. Number two, I would say, is proactively meeting with your tax advisor. So for our advisory clients, we meet with them on a quarterly basis and some on a monthly basis.
Wow, that's
And the
great.
and the reason why you want to have that proactive conversation is because, especially if you're a small business owner, business goes like this, right? I mean, we're 2024, we're in election year, the economy is everywhere, inflation, you hear about this, that, and the other. They're talking about unemployment increasing. So what are you doing to not only save in taxes, but also like wealth protection standpoint as well? So having that proactive conversation on a periodic basis with your tax advisor is huge. I would recommend at least quarterly basis, and depending on the activity in your business, meeting on a monthly basis may be best. So having that conversation, that proactive conversation with your tax advisor, not only your tax advisor but your legal team, your financial advisor. You want to really create a team around you, especially as a business grows from a small business perspective, to make sure you have the right team in your corner, and whatever comes thrown your way, you can kind of avenue and navigate um, the complex world of the business owner lifestyle.
Yes, I love that too because there's nothing worse than if you're only meeting once a year, maybe even twice a year. So much can change in that time period as a small business. And yeah, you gotta, utilize your financial people kind of almost as a therapist. So they know what's coming and they know what you're planning and can kind of guide you to make sure you're getting the best benefit. Because to be honest, your accountant, your lawyer, they're working for you. You might as well have them, earn their keep, so to say. But okay. And do you have a third?
I would say the third one is to keep an open mind. A lot of the times, the strategies that we recommend, some people are very conservative.
Mm.
What we like to do is not only recommend strategies, but we also have the IRS code and resources in our back pocket to support everything. So we like to say it's our strategies are core tested and IRS approved, because it's all about reading the IRS code and finding those loopholes essentially,
Mm.
um, and then having case law, tax law, to back up these strategies and make sure you're actually implementing them.
Mm.
It's one thing knowing the strategy, and there's another thing implementing the strategy.
Yes.
I can
Very
create a
good.
tax plan report, give it to you step by step on how to implement each strategy. And a lot of people just take that and run.
Yeah.
And then they meet with me the next year, like, hey, why didn't I save anything in taxes? It's because you didn't do the implementing part. And that's where our advisory program comes into play. So, really is focusing on that implementation piece and make sure you're on top of it, um, which a tax advisor can happily guide you through and make sure for compliance purposes everything's up to speed, so you can actually benefit from those tax savings and reap from those rewards.
Well, that's awesome because then you're really a partner in this whole thing, right? And to get instructions from somebody and to walk away and not kind of have that either gentle reminder, hey, did you do this? Did you set this up? Have you implemented these things we talked about? Some of us sometimes need that little nudge to get moving, but ultimately it's to help the business owners save money, not, set themselves up for success. So that's really cool. I like that partnership mentality. You have the capability to take on additional clients at this time?
Great question. So right now we're on a wait list.
Okay.
Um, and then every 2 months or so, we usually go to the people who are on the wait list, and we, start contacting them to see if they're interested, set up calls, etc. But ideally, we're going to slowly shift over to an application process. and we'd like to call it the spark difference. So submit an application, we review it, and then we set up a discovery call.
Mm-hmm.
And then at that point, we determine whether what services do you need and can we help you. We
Right.
can't help everybody.
Right.
Sometimes,
Right.
if you're just new to the game or if you have no tax liability, there's really no value that we can bring to the table. We found that service-based business owners that have huge tax liability bills, like usually more than 30, $40,000, is where we can help you the best.
Gotcha. Right.
Um,
Because then you're going to start to look for those solutions to help bring that down as much as possible, or ways to set things up to help. That's really, really interesting. And look, I mean, hey, when you're good at what you do, a wait list makes perfect sense. Everyone out there watching, hang tight and we'll let you know when he's available to for you to submit your application. Spark Tax Services. So you are a dad. How many kids you have? You have two?
I have two boys. Yeah,
Two boys.
8 year
How
old
old
and
are they?
he's one just turned 8. The other one's a year and a half. So
Oh,
yeah,
fun.
yeah,
Fun stuff. Awesome. Well, look, I think, you're a great part of the Frederick community. We like that you are helping small business and keeping them strong, and making sure they continue on to, help our economy. We know small business is what this country is made of. So we appreciate people like you that are helping our small business owners. And we really appreciate the time you've taken today.
absolutely. Thank you, Danny.